Welcome back, everybody, and we're going to be running another episode of the Coronavirus Sports Boredom Show. This is Ethan, here with JD, and we got a lot of sports to talk about. Sports starting to crawl out from under their shell and return a little bit, but we're going to start it off with a sport that has not done so and talk about French Ligue 1 soccer. The news that league is unfortunately canceled, will not finish, and that PSG has been declared the champions of that league. So what are your thoughts on the league shutting down? And then what are your thoughts on PSG being declared the champs?
Well, I mean, it's a sad thing for one, obviously. Whether they should have been clean champions, some people say no, some people say yes, but I think they're the clear, top team in that league. Lyon, they were mad about it all. They threatened legal action after missing the Champions League. So there's, teams that aren't the happiest at this time. But I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't know what their situation is over in France specifically regarding the whole virus and everything, but they had to have good reasons. So, I mean, congrats to PSG. That's their third championship in a row. I think it's they're like 7th in 8 seasons they've been dominating. So, I mean, they're pretty dominant.
Yeah, and I feel like I hope there's no asterisk next to PSG winning this title. I mean, they're 12 points clear of Marseille, and this isn't like we have an American playoff system where you could say like in the NBA, you could say, well, the Memphis Grizzlies could have won the whole thing if you're just going to give the championship to the Bucks or somebody. The Lakers could have won it. The Clippers could have won it. In the French league and in a lot of world soccer leagues, the team with the most points is going to be declared the champ, and I don't think anybody was catching PSG. I think they had enough of a lead. And considering that there is no playoff system, I think they definitely deserve this title. I think it's unfortunate that the league shuts down, but I hope there's no asterisk next to that. I think, like you were saying, it's more for teams like Lyon that moving up and down, relegation, that sort of thing. Those are the teams that have more of a right to be bitter, but nobody has a right to be bitter about PSG winning this whole thing, as they were well clear and given the structure, I think would have been the French league champs anyway.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, totally. But well, we're gonna move on to more recent news in the NFL. We'll talk about Jameis Winston a little later, but let's talk about Andy Dalton first, going to the Cowboys. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is a good thing for Dak Prescott? I mean, what do you think about this whole situation with Dalton after being cut from the Bengals going to Dallas?
Yeah. From the Cowboys' perspective, I think it's a great signing. I think Andy's one of the more underrated guys in the league. I think that it was really a sharp decline of that Bengal team that kind of ate up his career. He had a really nice start to his career. He was right up there with a bunch of the great quarterbacks in our league, guys like Eli Manning, whose career also took a downturn, and Phil Rivers, Roethlisberger. There's been a bunch of great QBs in the league, and he was right up there with them. But then his career really took a turn for the worst, as the team did. So I think for the Cowboys to pick him up as a really solid backup for a 1 year, whatever it was, $3 million deal, I think that's great value. And if Dak does get hurt, I think he's in a position to possibly win some games with that team. Also, I see it playing out as a similar situation, just a little bit less so. It's a lesser version of the situation in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles, where you're bringing in a veteran guy to be a mentor, but also to put a little pressure on a young guy. And I think Dak has done a good job in Dallas. I think it's a tough environment to play in. And overall, he's done a pretty good job handling that pressure and playing well. But in the NFL, especially in Dallas, you got to win. And that's something they haven't done yet. So I think Dalton's definitely going to put some pressure on Dak. Maybe he's going to stop holding quarantine parties and start getting down to business. So we'll see. But I like the signing. I think it's unfortunate for Dalton that he's a backup now, but I think this works well for the Cowboys, and hopefully it ends up working well for him.
Well, yeah, Dalton only had so much time in Cincy too, so I mean, I think it was a needed thing to happen to bring in another quarterback because I don't know. I think Dak should have brought that team farther. We'll see how it plays out with the Bears. Who knows what will happen? Maybe Foles gets the actual start of the Bears for maybe Smart, but who knows what they'll do. In New Orleans, we'll talk about that in a bit, but all these teams are doing kind of the same thing. They'll have their same concept, and there's still good quarterbacks out there. And you got Cam Newton out there. You still even have Jadeveon Clowney out there. You got some good, talented guys. So, Andy Dalton, I think, was a great signing. All good hopes to him. I hope he does good. I hope he flourishes there, and I'm excited to see what will happen. Who knows? Maybe he'll
Sure,
get.
and hey,
Maybe he'll start. Who knows what will
I
happen?
was going to say maybe we'll see another Teddy Bridgewater situation where,
Well,
Drew
maybe
Brees
not
came
even
in for
injury.
13
We
games.
might see him take over. You never
Yeah,
know.
I mean, even if he doesn't outplay Dak, Dak gets hurt for a couple of weeks. That time for Teddy to show out was what earned him his job with the Panthers. So this could be the next step in reinvigorating Andy Dalton's
Exactly.
career.
Yeah.
You never know, and I really
Totally.
hope it works out for him. I think he's more talented than people give him credit for.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, moving on now, NASCAR. Possibly going to be one of the first American sports to come back. They've announced a plan to return races without fans starting May 17th. And they're going to be there. I think it starts with 7 races in 11 days in all 3 series. May 17th, all kicks off at Darlington Raceway. What are your thoughts on NASCAR coming back, and can this plan work? What do you think of it?
I think it's going to work. I think it's about time. One of these major sports in the U.S. comes back. I think it's only a matter of time for golf to come back also. Tennis should be on its way back sometime soon, hopefully. We'll see the time frame there. I think the NBA is making good steps forward. I think the NFL will have no delay in their season. But I like NASCAR doing it. They're obviously not going to be able to probably go to maybe every single place they want to, especially up north in some states. You got some leaders not wanting to go back into a phase to get back to normal. So we'll see what happens. I think I love it. I think it's a great thing. I think it's about time. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan, because racing a lot of races in a short period of time can be really demanding for drivers and crews, but a big part of that is the travel. And so for them to be racing, 2 races in a span of 2 cup races in a span of a week at Darlington, I think that's brilliant that we're going to stay there, race both races there, then go to Charlotte and race a couple races there. I think that if we're trying to fit in a whole season, minimizing travel as much as we can is ideal for it, because that's where a lot of the wear and tear comes in with drivers. It's why in Formula One, back-to-backs are nearly unheard of. It's almost impossible to go from, Europe to possibly some other continent even to go race another race. I mean, that is truly a worldwide series. And so for them to be going Darlington, just a short little hike over to Charlotte and run 4 races there in a couple of weeks, I think it's a great plan. I really hope this works out, and I cannot wait to have NASCAR back. It's going to be awesome.
Totally. I mean, I think it's a great thing that's happening. But the other day we had one of the great coaches of all time, the winningest coach in the NFL, great Don Shula, coached Miami Dolphins. He died. I mean, got to pay our respects to him. He was a great coach. He did a lot of good things. With Marino back then. So I'll just commemorate him. I mean, he had a great coaching career. He'll definitely go down as one of the greats, up there with Lombardi in the NFL and Belichick and different guys. But just props to him. Good legacy, great life.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Don Shula. Everybody knows he's a great coach, the winningest coach of all time. Couple of Super Bowls, had that undefeated season and winning a Super Bowl. But, I want to focus on the Don Shula that maybe a lot of people don't know. This is a guy who was a great player, but a great coach. But more importantly, just a really interesting guy, and I think a great guy who made such a great impact on the game. We're talking about a guy who served in the military when his country needed him. A great father and husband with 4 kids. A guy who founded a breast cancer foundation after the passing of his first wife. We're talking about very deeply religious guy. Just, I think there's just a lot about Don Shula that people didn't appreciate that was beyond the coach. Ultimately, one of the all-time great guys and great influencers of our game. Lived a full life, passed away at the age of 90, but he'll be deeply missed.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, sad day that when he died. Our heart goes out to his family also.
Yep, for sure, man. Lots of prayers.
Staying with the NFL with Shula, and also as we talked about Dalton earlier, Jameis Winston, as I mentioned earlier, he's a Saint now. It's gonna be interesting. They got Taysom Hill, they have Drew Brees, they have Jameis Winston now. It's gonna be interesting dynamic in New Orleans. We'll see what they do, how they do it. I mean, Brees was out for a number of periods last year, so it's good that probably for New Orleans to have a guy other than Taysom Hill, who's usually more of a dual threat in their offense. But like you said, what are your earlier about Dalton? It's a good fit for the team. Same thing with Jameis Winston, or negative here? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's a good signing for them. I think it's a low-risk signing. I don't think it brings the same component of a veteran guy putting pressure on a young guy like it is with Dak and Dalton or with Foles and Mitch. Because obviously Jameis Winston isn't going to be putting any pressure on the GOAT QB, Drew Brees. But the one thing I don't like about this is Taysom Hill was a guy who really was developing into being a better thrower of the football, being a guy who I was hoping would have a legitimate backup opportunity as more than just a trick play specialist. And signing a dude who just threw for 5,000 yards and was released by his team means that he's not going to be afforded that opportunity. Taysom's an older guy than people realize. Went on his mission or whatnot at BYU, and that took him a while. Graduated a heck of a lot older than most guys. So Taysom may be young in league terms, but he's getting up there, and I just wanted to see him get that opportunity. So I feel for Taysom a little bit. I think it's good for the Saints. I think it's a good low-risk pickup where if Drew Brees gets hurt, they're going to have a great guy to put in there. I just think it's somewhat unfortunate for Taysom Hill. I was looking forward to seeing him develop into being a better thrower of the football and really get his opportunity in the league.
Yeah, I definitely feel you there, and I agree a little bit there. Yeah, definitely. Taysom Hill, he deserves his spot, time to shine, definitely. But again, sticking with the NFL, I mean, there's been a lot of things going back and forth here. An old veteran, 17th year in the season. A guy like Adrian Peterson, who's past his prime but still has deep value. He's not much of a runner anymore, but he's a big veteran, I can think. Frank Gore, he's going to the Jets. He's staying in the same division, staying in the same region. What are your thoughts about him going to the Jets, and what do you think that provides with Le'Veon in front and Frank Gore in back? Then you got Sam Darnold, you got wide receivers that they got now. So, what are your thoughts?
Hey man, until Frank Gore stops doing it, I won't believe he's going to stop doing it. That dude is unbelievable at that position. 16 seasons in to still be running like a champ, and I think this is a great fit for him. Great backup, great second running back, because Le'Veon's going to get the majority of the touches, but he's going to make sure they don't run Le'Veon into the ground like they did last year and in the past. And now Le'Veon can let an elite, truly all-time great running back take a few of those touches, keep him fresh, and Frank can really stay fresh, not feel like he has to carry a huge load, but keep putting in quality yards here. I think it's a good signing. What are your thoughts on that one?
No, yeah, I love Frank Gore going to the Jets for sure. I mean, I think it's a pretty good fit. I think it's going to help. Le'Veon's not as he was before. I like it. We'll see what happens. In New York, it's going to be an interesting year. They should, hopefully have some potential, but it's either now or never for New York too. They gotta at least win a good 6 to 10, maybe 8 games this year.
And the way they were struggling and then signing Le'Veon Bell, I mean, you figure they have to win with that guy, right?
They have to. Well, and they drafted an offensive lineman, so they're going to be more Le'Veon Bell oriented, as Sam Darnold's not, the 100% answer too. So.
Le'Veon rush because the last couple of years his rushing average, the last year his rushing average was absolutely terrible. They need to find a way to allow him to do his thing, and I think by strengthening the offensive line and giving him less touches, less bulk carries, I think that can really benefit him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely. one of our last topic of the day today, Korean baseball. Just started back up here.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you texted me the other day and you were watching it. I
Yes.
mean, what are your thoughts on Korean baseball opening up?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't even put into words how ecstatic I was to see live baseball at any level, at any part of the world, at any time. 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning over here in the Midwest, and I was still up there watching it. I think the Korean League is very underappreciated, the KBO. They got 10 teams. It's obviously got a different flair to it. It's a different kind of league. Only 2 foreign players per team. Most of the league is Korean guys. But there's so much talent in that league, and I love seeing the way that the game takes on a different face in a different part of the world. But of course, with Major League Baseball, we're always going to focus on it because it's the best league in the world. And so to be able to focus on Korean ball for a little bit is really cool. I personally am an NC Dinos fan. Let's go Dinos, man. Let's win this Korea series this time. They're one of the more sabermetrically inclined franchises. They're a newer franchise, but I like the Dinos a lot. But I just think it's so cool to see live baseball again. I don't even care where, even to some degree at what level, but to see it at a high level like this, uh, even in empty stadiums, it was just, to me, it's such a huge part of the healing process for me. And you and I, we're not playing baseball. We can't watch baseball here in the U.S. You can't even go and walk over to the local park and see a Little League game going on. It's just not here. And so to see that going on, I could not get enough. It was truly amazing.
No, and I totally agree with you there. I mean, for me, still Korean baseball. I've seen a little here and there, different games, but I think it's a great thing. I'm not going to be as enthusiastic about it, obviously, because it's Korean baseball. You don't have as much of a attraction to it. I'd watch Japanese. I think I've watched Japanese baseball more than Korean baseball a few times I have, but I think it's great. I'm excited for it. Maybe I'll, catch a few games here or there more than I often would. But even he's talking about new sports coming back. What I'm most excited for, I think, I think today is the 6th, so we got about a month left, and the PGA is supposed to be back. So I can't wait for the PGA Tour to be back. I like golf. I hope to hit the course this week. Maybe we can hit the course one of these weeks, Ethan. But
Yes,
I'm just excited for stuff to get back to normal. Personally, we're in Illinois here. We're a little behind other states. New York and Chicago are deemed the 2 most behind states reopening. So I just want things to get back to normal. I like Korean baseball, so you can watch it on TV. I want to be able to go outside and we're not going to be able to anymore, but I want to be able to go outside and play. I mean, I don't know if you heard the news, but all summer sports are going to be canceled this summer in Illinois. I mean, it's a sad thing. So whatever I can do, whatever I can watch, just will make it feel a little more normal. Especially that's why I love The Last Dance on Sundays, because it gives me something to look forward to. That's what I'm most like. Without school, we don't have a lot to look forward to right now. So that's the biggest thing. That's why I think Korean baseball gives a lot of people hope, and I hope that all of the sponsors, they get more raked in because they deserve something, because literally the only baseball league open. So
yeah. And you talk about The Last Dance, that has been great, but just to know that somewhere in this world, in this pandemic, literally everywhere, there is baseball again. There is joy somewhere in this world right now. And so to spread that joy around the world, shout outs to ESPN for televising it. It's just been awesome. Shout outs to my boy, eui-ji, if I'm not pronouncing that right, apologies. But, to me, he's one of the best players in the league. Catcher, dude's had a long, successful career in the league with the NC Dinos. Great hitter, great behind the plate. Probably my favorite player in the league. But so many great, exciting players in that league. It's just awesome. At least it's something, and it's a high level league. It's more than just something, but we got baseball, man. It's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, totally. And more than just that, though, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I mean, as much as everything going on in the world, it's a step in the right direction. And Korean Baseball League, though it's maybe not, it's no MLB, it's no whatever, it's great. And I'm looking forward to what other sports will start opening up for. I'm looking up for different things. And even, Korean Baseball League, just as we're talking about it, there's been some people that, of course, have came to the MLB. So, great shout out to those guys. I know, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but the old Dodgers pitcher who's like a twin or something now, Rai. What is it? The dude.
Oh yeah, Jin Ryu you're talking about?
Yeah. He was in the Korean Baseball League. So was Chushin Su, who's a great Texas Ranger one. There's been different guys. There's been a couple of Americans who've played over there, but there've been a few maybe not as great MLB players that have came from that league. But my point was, it still shows the authenticity of that league and actually how underrated it can be at sometimes, especially with Japanese Baseball League, maybe sometimes overshadowing the Korean Baseball League in that region of Asia.
Yeah, and you talk about American players there, even though there's only 2 foreign players per roster. Aaron Altera's over there, Tyler Saladino's over there. Watch those guys in the Dinos versus Lions game opening day. That was awesome, seeing those guys potentially trying to get a resurgence in their career. Eric Thames over there.
Totally.
The MVP, I think, in 2016 with the NC Dinos. He went crazy in that league, and it essentially single-handedly got him another opportunity in the MLB. And then another guy with the NC Dinos, Na Sung Bum, their DH outfielder, dude can flat out rake, and they're saying he's got a very real chance to end up in the MLB soon. There's plenty of guys either from America or Japan or other places coming over and then getting MLB careers, and then plenty of Korean guys who have a real shot to show off their talent. So it's a very legitimate league for sure.
Yeah, totally. And what was I gonna say? Well, not just those guys, but there's been a lot of guys. But I was thinking, I mean, before if MLB and other sports are opening up, who knows? I hope Chris Bryant or Rizzo starts going play over there, bro. I want to see some. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Hey, all I know is if you see some guy named John David Ellison in Korea one day playing for the Dinos in like 2 weeks, I'm just saying, you never know what could happen here.
In 2 weeks?
I want baseball. Yeah, hey, anything's possible. I mean, if you keep up with The Last Dance, Dennis Rodman went to Vegas for 40 hours and came back and played a basketball game, bro. Dennis Rodman was insane. I'm going to be like Dennis Rodman in a second, bro.
JD, you ain't Dennis Rodman, though, dude.
hey, I'm something, bro.
Yeah,
all right, but that's all we got here, too.
Fingers back before you play in the KBO. I don't know, man.
That's true. Oh, by the way, I can hold a baseball bat now a lot better than swing, so I'm happy about that. So
awesome, man.
Anyways, that was our last thing for the show today. Ethan, any final closing before we close the show?
I don't know, man. Good to have baseball. Good to have stuff going on. Again, shout outs Don Shula. Truly a great one.
Totally, 100%.
May he rest in peace. Great man and a great player, great coach. But that should just about do it. So for me and for JD, we'll see you later. And stay safe.
Adios, everyone.